The advice that I would have for people who are entering the criminal justice system as employees and people who are interested in the workforce would be to be really vigilant around your own needs, because you might have heard people say already that you can't help someone else if you haven't addressed your own needs first. And I think that's really true, especially when there can be cumulative impacts of the stress, and you might notice that there's been multiple things that have happened. Then over time, it's gradually affected how you're feeling, or perhaps how you're even interpreting things around you. So the advice that I would have is to develop a self-care plan. Develop an understanding of your own warning signs when it comes to stress or when things might be changing in terms of your own well-being, but also not to be afraid to talk to others about it, because these support mechanisms, whatever they might look like for you, they're there for a really good reason, and that's because there are, I think, inherent psychosocial risks within this kind of workplace. And it's by nature of the kind of population that we work with, but it's also by nature of working within an institutional environment that can be really challenging.
I think what's really important as well is to also have a good group of female colleagues, or even a male trusted colleague whom you can go to and look to for advice, a mentor that you can go and talk to about these sorts of challenging situations and ask for advice or just debriefing, and to feel, I guess, heard, to feel validated that your concerns, that your experiences, that you're not alone. It's also very important to learn to, I guess, be aware of your, if you're working in a government department, to be aware of what the workplace policies are around bullying and harassment, and to be able to go and to be able to talk to HR or a boss or a mentor that you might have a good rapport with, or have a certain level of trust within the workplace setting. I guess in general, there's a lot of job satisfaction to be had working in the criminal justice system, and don't be deterred by the challenges, the workplace challenges, or the personalities that you may face in the workplace. Ultimately, it's a job that comes with its challenges, but also lots of benefits and lots of fulfillment to be had if you surround yourself with the right people, with people that you can trust, and also you set strong boundaries and structures in place for your own professional practice right from the very beginning.
So finding allies and finding support people around you, and people who believe not just in you as a person, but also in the value of the work that you're doing and what you represent, I think is hugely important. Because another thing that you encounter at different times, I think, is different views about people's capacity for change. And so because that was always a deeply held value that drove me into this work, and that still does, is the belief that people can change. That doesn't mean I naively think everybody will change, but that there's, I guess there's capacity for that.
I think in terms of advice that I would give to new people coming into the roles, look, I love working in the criminal justice system. I love so much about it. It just fascinates me. I've definitely shifted my attitudes towards people who offend the more I meet people who have offended or people who are in prison. But I would definitely say, if you start a role, to make sure that you're aware of what the organisational supports are that are in place, so that you understand if you need to access any services or supports, you know how to do that. One of the key bits of advice that I've been given, actually by a psychiatrist, was, you can't change or fix a dysfunctional workplace. So if you go somewhere and you feel like it's not a safe place to be, or you don't feel comfortable there, or things are happening around you that you're witnessing that seem to sort of reflect a wider culture of the organisation, I would absolutely say, don't try and fix it, don't stick around, don't put up with it, just get out and find something else.
So my advice is enjoy the work. It's meaningful, it is purposeful, but make sure you always are looking after yourself. Ask for help when you need it. Your well-being is always number one. And on finishing, Don't let it change you too much. Never lose your sparkle or your drive. Thank you.